This is Eli, aka Devoted Day Trader. Today, I actually traded 5 stocks instead of my usual 4. I violated my rule. I also violated my rule of trading in the first 2 minutes. I traded Biogen, which is a healthcare drug manufacturer company. I traded at McDonald's, Netflix, and Alibaba. And I'm not proud with the fact that I violated 2 of my rules, but what can you do? I guess I'm human, right? So the trade on BIIB, Biogen, it was on my watch list because this thing was up about 40% in the pre-market. It went up from previous close was at from 222 all the way to 318 pretty much. So BIIB wasn't played because their Alzheimer's drug is pending approval. So they are a drug manufacturer, and their Alzheimer's drug is gaining traction. So I mean, in the open, this thing moved from 306 all the way to 317. So this bar right here is literally $10, a $10 move. So I took a stab at it because when a stock moves like when a stock has big range, it could just continue going higher and higher and higher. So I took a stab at it, and once it dropped, I got out. I did take a small position because like I was saying, this thing is moving by $10, so I had to manage my risk effectively. So the first one was a loser, and I was disappointed with myself because what time was my entry? So I got in at 9:31:46. I'm not supposed to trade in the first 2 minutes because if I had waited, I would have saw that there was no continuation and that sellers were now selling the stock down, and I wouldn't have been in this trade. I tried taking this long again the second time. I noticed we sold off despite opening strong, and seeing this bottoming tail, this tall tail, which is buying pressure, sellers pushed it down and buyers stepped up and said, you know what, we're willing to pay more, and they pushed it up. So seeing this two bottoming tails, I took a long, again small size because of this thing moves, and I got stopped out. So my 2 attempts were losers, but I should have been short biased. If I was short biased, meaning that I'm betting the price is going to go down, I could have, this thing moved from what, 318, and now it's at 280. So we're talking about $40 per share. This thing has moved literally by over $40 per share. So if I was short biased, I could have made a lot of money on this, but I was on the wrong side of the trade. So my second trade was on Alibaba, which is a Chinese e-commerce company, similar to Netflix, and Baba is one of those stocks that I have on my watch list, and I'm proud of this Baba trade. At least I'm proud of my entry. So on Baba, I saw these triple tops, or triple topping tails. 1, 2, 3. This signifies that sellers are just pushing it down, pushing it down, pushing it down. Topping tails signify selling pressure. Someone is pushing the price down once, twice, 3 times. So I went short with a stop at the high of day, and the trade worked. I covered half of my position at this price, what price was that? 174, 173.89, because we have this dotted green line, which is yesterday's high. So yesterday, if we see on the daily chart, we got to this price and the stock topped out at this price, and plus we have this blue line, which is the 20 exponential moving average. So I knew that this was a potential support, so I locked in profit there, and the rest of my position I was not going to cover until we got to this red line, which is the 200 moving average. But I made a hotkey mistake and I got out of my position right here. I was essentially trying to put in a stop range order with a stop at the break of this black line, which is a VWAP, the volume weighted average price, which acts as support and resistance. Essentially, if we're below VWAP, it means the stock is weak, and if we're above VWAP, it means the stock is strong. So I tried to place a stop range order that would liquidate my position if the stock got above VWAP, and I made a hotkey mistake and it took me out of my position. So I was pissed. I didn't feel like I was able to capitalize on the move because my idea was spot on. These triple topping tails did confirm, or did my idea was confirmed that these triple topping tails are gonna send the price going down, and that's what happened. I mean, right now it's going, and it's going, so I could have captured this entire move, but because of a stupid hotkey mistake, I locked in profit prematurely. So my last trade was on McDonald's. So by now, keep in mind that I traded BIIB, Biogen twice. Alibaba was the third trade. Oh yeah, let's talk about Netflix. So Netflix was actually my fourth trade, and I'm only supposed to take 4 trades, but I took 5 trades today because I didn't want to end the day negative. Despite so I'm not proud of this, but so let's focus on this Netflix trade. So Netflix last week it announced its quarterly earning, and the stock crushed its quarterly earning despite posting great numbers. If we look on the daily chart, the stock has been selling off, just going down, red, and I figured maybe now it's gonna stop selling off. So I saw these bottoming tails at this red dotted line, which is yesterday's low, yesterday's lowest price. So I thought this could hold as a support, the bottoming tails, yesterday's low, and I went long. But once it consolidated and it dropped and violated yesterday's low, I was stopped out. So that was my 4th trade. But by now, despite my trade on Alibaba being a winner, I was slightly, I was negative on the day, and I just didn't want to end the day negative because I had a red day yesterday, and I'm thinking I can't have 2 red days back to back. So I saw McDonald's setting up. So McDonald's was on my watch list because it announced its quarterly earning, and it missed its quarterly earning, and this is the first time in 2 years that McDonald's has not met its expected quarterly profit. So on McDonald's in the open, I believe the stock was down about 2.5% in the open. So on McDonald's in the open, if you see this red bar, just sellers just sold it down all the way from like 205 to 201.41. So like a $4 or $5 move, and it did bounce off. If we look on the 5-minute, it bounced off pre-market low. So pre-market low could act as significant support and resistance. So in this case, it bounced off a pre-market low. But what I saw was, again, the tails, the topping tails. I saw 1, 2, 3 topping tails, and we have this red bar right here, this violent red bar, and it's pretty difficult for a stock to climb a red wall like this, so if we look at this, for the stock to get from here to make a new high, I believe the odds are 16%, something like that. So knowing that, seeing these topping tails, I was pretty confident in the fact that the stock was going to go down, and I went short at McDonald's at 203.89. That's where I went short, and I was not quick to lock in profit. Normally I would have locked in profit at VWAP, but I wanted more from the stock. And plus I did not take a lot of shares because I knew that I was violating my rules of 4 trades. This was the 5th trade, so I told myself I will at least control my position size, and it dropped, and I locked in profit at 202.72 once I saw that it was hesitating at this price. And then once it started to squeeze up and it got above VWAP, this black line, remember, if the stock is above VWAP, it means the stock is strong. If the price is below VWAP, it means the stock is weak. So the fact that it got above VWAP, I just took the rest of my position off, and now it's consolidating around VWAP. I most likely is gonna see, now it's dropping right now. It's dropping. It's dropping. So most likely it's gonna probably test low of day, which is pre-market low, and if it gets to this, it's probably gonna test this red line. So on the daily chart, we have the 200 moving average, which could act as significant support or resistance. In this case, support is most likely gonna try to sell off to this level. So I'll say McDonald's will probably get as low as 200. That being said, I'm glad that McDonald's saved the day, but I'm not happy with the 2 mistakes that I made. The first mistake is the fact that I traded in the first 2 minutes. I am not supposed to trade in the first 2 minutes. The second mistake that I made was the fact that I placed a 5th trade. I have been so good in regards to stopping at 4 trades for the past, I think now 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Just 4 trades. I've been so good at it, and now I violated that rule. I violated that progress. And it's funny, after taking my 5th trade, I was itching to take a 6th trade. I was like, you know what, let's take one more trade here. We got this. Let's end the day more profitable. But it's just like someone who has a drug or a drinking problem. It takes only one drink. It takes only one hit to just relapse, and just go nuts. So that's why I'm not happy with the fact that I took 5 trades. I rather would have ended the day negative, red than have taken the 5th trade. Now I don't feel good about it, but it is what it is. Yeah, I guess I'm human, right? I can't be a machine. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to comment below, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.